People are funny. They spend their lives clutching at strings, trying to hold everything together like some kind of puppeteer in a circus act that's falling apart. They juggle their problems, wrestle their fears, and when things go sideways, they think, if I just try harder, if I just hold on a little tighter, I can fix this. But here's the real joke. Most of the strings they're holding, they're not even connected to anything. You know what the problem is with people? They don't know when to let go. They hold on to everything like it's their job. Every little worry, every little doubt, every tiny little thing that goes wrong, oh, they grip it tight like it's a life raft in the middle of a storm. But the joke is, the harder they hold on, the deeper they sink. It's like watching someone trying to keep their balance on a tightrope, but instead of looking ahead, they're staring down at their feet, thinking they can control every step, every movement. It's laughable. But there's a twist. It's not just about holding on to the little things. It's about thinking that holding on will fix anything. People love to control things. They think that if they try harder, hold tighter, they can make the world bend to their will. They'll pull at the strings, adjust, and adjust again, and then they wonder why everything keeps unraveling. It's like watching a hamster run in circles on a wheel. They're moving, they're trying, but they're not getting anywhere. They're just spinning in place, exhausting themselves, thinking they're doing something. And the real kicker, the harder they try to grip on, the more out of control things become. They're so obsessed with their plan, their solution, their idea of how things should be, that they miss the fact that they're not really in control at all. Not even a little bit. They think they can change things. They think they can fix the unfixable. And the more they struggle, the more they lose sight of the fact that maybe, just maybe, they don't have to fix everything. Maybe, just maybe, they're not supposed to. But letting go, that's terrifying. People don't want to do it. 'Cause letting go feels like surrender, like defeat. It feels like throwing in the towel and admitting that they can't do it alone. And God forbid anyone admit they need help. It's like weakness, right? It's not. It's strength. The real strength comes from knowing when you don't have to carry the weight. It's knowing that you don't have to fix everything. That it's okay to stop trying to make everything perfect. The truth is, the more you hold on, the more you make it all about you, and the more you make it about you, the more you block out everything else, the solutions, the opportunities, the possibilities. When you're too busy clinging to your own ideas, you don't leave any room for something better to come in. It's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. You're so focused on making it fit that you don't notice that there's another option, one that's easier, smoother, and makes a lot more sense. But the thing is, people can't see that. They're too caught up in their own struggle, their own idea of what should be. But what if the answer isn't in trying harder? What if the answer is in stepping back, in letting go, in trusting that maybe there's a bigger plan at work? What if it's not about you trying to control every little detail, but about you surrendering the control you've been clinging to so desperately? It sounds crazy, right? Let go, let someone else take the wheel. The very thought sends shivers down people's spines. But that's the thing, they're so scared of surrendering because they think it means they've lost. But they're wrong, they're playing the wrong game. The game isn't about control, it's about trust. Trust that things don't have to go the way you think they should. Trust that letting go doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you're opening yourself to something greater. Trust that the universe, or whatever you want to call it, has a better idea of how things should turn out. You're not in control. You never were, you just didn't realize it. So here's the punchline. Stop holding on. Stop thinking that everything rests on your shoulders. Stop fighting, stop struggling, stop wrestling with every little thing that goes wrong. Because when you let go, you make room for something better to come in. You let go of the tight grip you've had on your own plans, and you allow something more powerful, more capable to step in. And here's the beautiful part. You don't even need to know what that something is. You just need to trust that it's there, that it's working, that it has a plan. But most people won't do that. They'll keep holding on, keep pretending they can fix everything, keep trying to control everything. They'll stay in their tiny little box, refusing to step out and see the bigger picture. And the more they hold on, the more they'll realize they're stuck, because control is an illusion. And as long as they keep fighting, they'll keep losing. The only way to win is to let go, to trust, to stop pretending. They're the ones who have to make everything happen. Control. That's a funny word, isn't it? Everyone talks about it like it's this shiny, golden ticket. I just need control, they say, as if somehow, if they can control every little thing in their life, they'll be happy. They'll have it all figured out. They'll be the masters of their fate, the kings and queens of their little kingdoms. But here's the joke. Control doesn't exist. Not really. It's a beautiful illusion, a trick of the mind, a card up the sleeve to make you feel safe, to make you feel like you're in charge. But in the end, it's nothing more than smoke and mirrors. You think you're in control, right? You plan everything down to the finest detail. You build your little empire piece by piece, thinking that you're the one who holds the strings. You go to work, you pay the bills, you plan for the future, and you pretend that if you just keep pushing, just keep fighting, you can manage it all. But life laughs at you. It always does. The minute you think you've got it all figured out, it throws something at you that you didn't see coming, a curveball, a wrench in the gears, something you didn't plan for, didn't account for, and suddenly all your precious control slips through your fingers like sand. You see, people like to pretend they're in charge. They love to think that their actions, their decisions will determine the outcome. But it doesn't work that way. No matter how tightly you grip the reins, no matter how many plans you make, life is still unpredictable. It's still messy. It's still a circus. And the more you try to control it, the more it slips away. But people can't stand that. They can't stand the idea of not being in control. It's terrifying. So what do? They try harder. They fight harder. They try to micromanage every single thing in their lives, thinking that the tighter they hold on, the more they can fix. It's exhausting, isn't it? Trying to control everything. You twist yourself into knots, bending over backward, trying to make everything work, trying to make everyone happy, trying to make sure 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 everyone happy. But all the effort, it just wears you down. You end up running around in circles, chasing your own tail. Because control, it's a lie. The more you grasp at it, the more it evades you. You're not in control. You never were. But here's the twist. Once you realize that, once you understand that you can't control it all, the game changes. Suddenly, you're free. Free from the need to plan every step. Free from the burden of having to be perfect. It begins to free from the anxiety that comes with thinking you can fix every problem that comes your way. It's a beautiful thing, really. You stop fighting the current and you start flowing with it. You stop trying to micromanage every moment, and you start letting life unfold as it will. That's when things start to get interesting. People resist that. They hate the idea of surrender. They think that letting go is weak, that it means giving up. But let me tell you, it's the opposite. The strongest thing you can do is accept that you're not in control, and that's okay. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to know what comes next. You don't have to plan for every little thing. The world doesn't revolve around you and your plans, and that's a good thing. It's liberating. You know what the real trick is? The real trick is to stop fighting the uncontrollable. Stop trying to bend the universe to your will. Stop trying to control the outcome, the timing, the details. Life is full of twists, turns, and surprises, and you can either spend your whole life fighting against it, or you can surrender, trust the ride, and see where it takes you. It's not easy, though. People are so caught up in their need to be in charge, they can't fathom the idea of stepping back and letting something else take over. But that's the key. It's not about trying harder. It's not about struggling more. It's about realizing that maybe, just maybe, you don't have to control everything. You don't have to fix every problem. You don't have to know every answer. You can breathe, you can relax, you can let go. And when you do, that's when things start to click. The chaos doesn't overwhelm you anymore. The uncontrollable doesn't scare you. You stop being the puppet and you let life pull the strings for once. It's like a magic trick, really. You think you're the one pulling the strings, but the whole time, life has been in charge. You've just been too busy pretending you could control it all to see it. So what happens when you stop pretending? What happens when you stop holding on to that illusion? You find that you don't have to control anything at all. Life is going to happen whether you like it or not, so why not let it? Isn't it funny how people think they're the only ones carrying the weight of the world? They walk around like the whole universe is sitting on their shoulders, bent over, hunched up with a frown, acting like they're the only ones who've got problems, who've got things to fix, who've got a checklist to complete. It's like they think if they just try hard enough, just push a little more, the world will bend to their will. They'll solve every issue, fix every little thing, and become the hero of their own story. They forget one thing: everyone's carrying something, but no one talks about it. Oh no, that would be too honest, wouldn't it? People pretend they're walking around with their heads held high, looking sharp, looking strong, like they've got it all together. They put on that shiny armor, their masks, and they think they can fool everyone. But guess what? They're fooling no one. They're fooling themselves. What if the truth is you're not meant to carry it all? What if the universe didn't design you to carry every burden, to fix every broken piece? What if the real strength isn't in holding it all together, but in realizing you don't have to? Oh, now that would be a crazy thought, wouldn't it? You mean to tell me I don't have to be the superhero? Jim Justin said, I don't have to hold up the world with my bare hands? Exactly. And that's where people get it twisted. They think that their struggle is what defines them, that their ability to carry the weight of the world, one problem after the next, is what makes them strong. But that's not strength. That's just exhaustion, disguised as courage. And let me tell you, the more you carry, the more it weighs you down. The more you hold on to, the harder it is to breathe. They think they're in control of it all, that they're managing every little thing, ticking off the boxes, moving through life like a well-oiled machine. But that's a joke. Because you're never in control, not really. People think they are, but they're not. You can plan your day down to the last second, make every decision like you're in charge, but life doesn't care about your plans. If we want life, things have to be totally perfect for you. Life doesn't ask for permission to knock you down, to change the course, to throw something unexpected into the mix. And when it happens, when life hits, when the plan falls apart, what do people do? They panic. They try to hold on even tighter, thinking that if they just squeeze a little more, just fight a little harder, they'll be able to fix it. They try to control the uncontrollable, and guess what? It doesn't work. You can't fix it all. You can't carry it all. You're not meant to. You ever hear someone say, I've got it under control? Yeah, I hear it all the time. But control's a funny thing, isn't it? Because the more you think you're in control, the more you realize how much you're not. You can only control so much, but the rest, it slips right through your fingers like water. You can't control the weather. You can't control the actions of other people. You can't control how life decides to surprise you with the unexpected. And yet, people keep acting like if they just try hard enough, they can. But no, no, no. It's a trap. Control is a mirage in the desert. You think you see it. You think you can touch it, but it's just a blur. It's never what it seems. So what happens when you realize you don't have to carry everything? When you stop pretending that you're the one holding all the cards, you start to realize, well, that's when things start to change. When you let go of that weight, when you stop thinking you have to be the fixer, the problem solver, the one who carries it all, you make room for something else. You make room for peace. You make room for perspective. You make room for someone or something else to step in and do what you couldn't. And that's where people get stuck. They're too scared to let go. And they think that if they stop trying to hold it all together, it'll all fall apart. They think that if they stop being the hero, the whole world will come crumbling down. But that's the real joke, isn't it? The more you try to hold it all up, the more you're blocking out the possibility of something better, something bigger, something beyond your control. There's power in stepping back and saying, I can't do this alone. I don't have to carry this weight. I don't have to fix everything. But people resist it. They resist because it feels like failure. It feels like giving up. But guess what? It's not giving up. It's realizing you're not supposed to do it all by yourself. You're not supposed to carry every burden. You're not supposed to fix every problem. You're not supposed to fix every problem. The weight you're carrying, it's too much for one person to bear. And that's the point. You weren't designed to bear it all. You weren't meant to solve every issue. You don't have to be the hero. You just have to be willing to let go and trust that something or someone else will take care of what you can't. People don't want to hear that, though. They don't want to admit they're not in control. They don't want to admit that sometimes the best thing they can do is step aside and let life unfold. But that's the truth. The moment you stop carrying the weight, stop trying to fix everything, stop pretending like you're the only one who can make it right, that's when things start to change. That's when you realize you were never meant to carry it all. You were just meant to carry what you can and leave the rest to whatever else is out there, waiting to take care of it. People like to think they're in control of their lives. They sit there, their little plans neatly mapped out like a treasure map, and they think, if I just follow this, I'll find my way. I'll get the treasure. I'll have it all. And what's that treasure? Peace? Happiness? Success? No. It's just a fleeting moment, a glimmer of what they think they need, what they think they deserve. The whole time they're gripping that map, trying to follow the lines and the dots, they miss the biggest joke of all. There is no treasure. There's no magic moment waiting at the end of the line. The only thing that's real is the chaos, the unpredictability and the messiness of it all. But people don't want to hear that. They don't want to believe it. They want to believe that if they just hold tighter, they'll figure it all out. And freedom is a game until you hit the big line. If they just hold tighter, they'll figure it all out. They're wrong. It's funny how people get so obsessed with the idea of control. They think that by holding on, by planning every little move, they can avoid the chaos. They think they can outsmart the world. But the world doesn't care about your little plans. It doesn't care about how much you try to organize and how much you try to force it to fit into your perfect little box. It'll find a way to remind you that you're not the one in control. It'll hit you with something unexpected. It'll throw you off course. And when that happens, what do? You struggle. You fight. You dig your heels in and say, no, I've got this. I'm in charge. I'll make it work. And you'll keep fighting until you're exhausted, until you're on the ground, until you realize that maybe, just maybe, you can't make it work. Maybe it was never yours to control in the first place. People spend so much of their time resisting what's out of their hands. They waste energy trying to control the uncontrollable. But the joke's on them. The tighter they hold on, the more they lose their grip. They don't realize that the real power doesn't come from holding on, doesn't come from struggling, doesn't come from trying to bend the world to your will. It comes from letting go. From releasing that need to control, that need to fix, that need to perfect every detail. People are so obsessed with fixing things, making everything right, that they don't see that sometimes the best thing they can do is just let it be. There's a kind of freedom in letting go. People don't want to admit it, though. It's like admitting they've lost. But the truth is, it's the opposite. Letting go isn't losing, it's winning. It's recognizing that you're not the one who has to carry it all. You're not the one who has to solve every problem, fix every broken piece, or tie every loose end. You don't have to be the one to make it all work, because you can't. And that's not a bad thing. That's a gift. The sooner people realize that they don't have to control everything, the sooner they can free themselves from the chains they've created. But here's the thing. Letting go isn't easy. It's hard. It's scary. It's like falling backwards, trusting that someone or something is going to catch you. But that's the thing, isn't it? People are so scared of falling. They think that if they fall, if they let go of their grip on control, everything will fall apart. But the reality is, the more they fight against it, the more they sink. The more they try to hold on, the more they lose. The secret to freedom isn't in control. It's in surrender. It's in stepping back and saying, you know what? I'm not in charge of this. I can't fix it. And that's okay. So when you stop trying to control everything, when you stop trying to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders, something happens. You make space. You make space for something else to step in. You make space for something bigger. Something more powerful, something that's not you. You make space for life to unfold in its own way. And that's when the magic happens. When you stop trying to bend the world to your will, you start seeing the world for what it really is. You start seeing the beauty in the chaos. You start seeing the moments you missed when you were too busy trying to fix everything. But most people don't get that. They don't want to. They want to control. They want to stay in charge. Thinking they have all the answers. Thinking they have all the answers. Thinking they can make everything fit. And they'll keep struggling. They'll keep pushing. And they'll keep getting frustrated when it doesn't work. And the whole time they'll be blind to the truth right in front of them. That sometimes the best thing you can do is step aside, let go, and trust that something else will take over, something bigger, something better. It's in releasing that grip, stepping back, and realizing you don't have to do it all. You don't have to be the hero. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to trust that the answers are already there, waiting for you to stop fighting long enough to see them. Oh, isn't it just perfect how people think they're in charge of everything? They sit there staring at their little world, and they believe if they push hard enough, if they try enough, they can control every outcome, every little piece. But control, that's the trick, isn't it? It's all smoke and mirrors. It's the greatest illusion ever created. You see, people like to pretend they're the ones pulling all the strings. Like they've got the power, the ability to shape things exactly the way they want. But here's the punchline. They don't. They're not in control. Not even close. They're just dancing to the tune of a world that couldn't care less about their little plans. It's all so funny, really. Everyone's so obsessed with having control. They try to map out their whole lives. They put all their eggs in the basket of if I work hard enough, if I do everything the right way, everything will fall into place. The illusion is perfect. It's a clean, well-organized world where everything makes sense. But life doesn't care about your neat little plans. Life doesn't follow your schedule. It doesn't obey your to-do list, your perfectly crafted goals. Life is messy, unpredictable, and chaotic, and the harder you try to control it, the more it slips away. The tighter you grip, the more it slips through your fingers like sand. So here's the joke. People think they're the ones in charge, but life has its own plans. They think that by doing everything right, by being perfect, by controlling every single detail, they can avoid the mess. But life thrives on mess. It's like the universe's sense of humor, always tossing in something unexpected when you least expect it. You can plan all you want, but you can't control the storm. You can't control the rain. You can't control the twist in the plot. And when people finally realize this, when they finally get the message that they're not in control, what happens? Panic. They try to force it. They try to get back in the driver's seat. But the thing is, they were never driving in the first place. They were just along for the ride. It's funny how people fight so hard to control everything, thinking that's what makes them strong. They think that if they keep pushing, if they keep trying, they'll find a way to bend life to their will. But what happens when they can't? What happens when life proves stronger than their grip? They break. They snap. They fall apart. And what do they do next? They try again. Harder. They try to grip tighter. They try to control more. They think that if they can just perfect their little corner of the world, then everything will be okay. But all that effort, all that energy spent fighting the inevitable does nothing but exhaust them. The joke is, the more they struggle, the more they lose. Because the more you try to control, the more you miss out on what really matters. You miss out on the beauty of letting go. The better they try, the higher their standards, the lower their effort. The better they try, the higher their standards, the lower their effort. The better they try, the higher their standards, the lower their effort. The better they get, the more they fail, give in. You miss out on the freedom of surrender. It's not about fighting the chaos, it's about dancing with it. It's about realizing that life doesn't have to fit into a neat little box. It doesn't have to follow the rules you set. You don't have to micromanage every little moment. In fact, the more you try, the more you get in your own way. But people don't want to hear that. They want to believe that if they work hard enough, if they control enough, they'll get what they want. They'll get the perfect life, the perfect job, the perfect family. They want to believe they can make it all happen with enough effort, enough control. But life doesn't care. Life doesn't need your control. Life will do what life does, whether you like it or not. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you stop fighting it. The sooner you stop trying to force it all into your idea of perfect, the sooner you find peace. Imagine that. Peace in letting go. Peace in realizing that you don't have to control everything. You don't have to fight the current. You don't have to force the world to obey your every command. You just have to be. Be in the moment. Be in the chaos. Be in the mess. And let go of the need to control the outcome. Let go of the idea that you can make everything work according to your plan. Life will do its thing, and you'll find that it's a lot more beautiful when you let it. People think control is a badge of honor. They think it's a sign of strength, of being powerful, of being able to handle everything life throws at them. But the real strength, the real power, it comes in knowing when to let go. It comes in realizing that sometimes you're not the one who has to fix it all. You don't have to control everything. You don't have to carry all the weight. Sometimes the best thing you can do is step back, stop fighting, and trust that something else, something bigger will take over. That's when the real magic happens. But most people are too scared to let go. They're too scared to trust the chaos. They're too scared to admit that they don't have it all figured out. And that's the most beautiful joke of all. The more you try to control, the less you have control of. The more you let go, the more you're free. Oh, it's always the same, isn't it? People running around, thinking they've got it all figured out. They think they have everything in control, like they're the ones holding the wheel, driving this whole circus of a life. They think if they work hard enough, if they hustle, if they grind long enough, the world will just hand them their prize at the end of the line. The prize? The perfect job, the perfect relationship, the perfect happiness. All of it just sitting there, waiting for them to reach it. Like it's just a matter of effort, right? But here's the thing. They're so busy chasing after that elusive carrot, they forget that life isn't a straight line. It's a mess. It's a beautiful mess. It's chaos wrapped in a shiny bow. And no amount of hard work, no amount of control is going to change that. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about this lovely little lie everyone buys into. You see, when you're always trying to make everything fit into that perfect little box, life doesn't give a damn about your box. It doesn't care about your rules. It doesn't care how much you try to control the direction, how much you try to orchestrate every little move. The joke is, the harder you fight it, the more life will throw at you, and the more you're going to trip over your own feet. Stumbling through the chaos, you can't control it, you can't plan it, you can't micromanage it, and when you try, you're not living, you're just existing. Stuck in a loop of frustration, running in circles, constantly exhausted, constantly chasing, constantly fighting. It's like being on a hamster wheel, going faster and faster, thinking you're getting somewhere when really you're just going in circles. And oh, the tragedy is in the trying. The real tragedy is believing that it's all on you. Let's dive deeper into this, because people, they just don't get it. They believe if they control, if they keep everything under their thumb, they'll be able to fix it, make it work. But the real question is, fix what? What are you fixing? What are you actually trying to put together? This world is broken. And the more you try to fix every little piece, the more you miss the bigger picture. It's all broken, and that's the beauty of it. The mess is what makes it all work. The mess is what gives it color, it gives it life. You can't expect everything to fit neatly. You can't expect every relationship to be perfect, every job to be flawless, every decision to be spot on. And yet that's what everyone wants. Everyone wants that perfect, symmetrical, controlled life. But that's not how it works. You see, the beauty of life is in the imperfections. It's in the moments you don't expect, the twists and turns you didn't plan for. That's what makes life worth living. But no one talks about it. Oh no, they don't want to talk about how messy it really is. They don't want to admit that sometimes control isn't the answer. They don't want to admit that letting go of control, surrendering to the chaos, is the only way to find any kind of peace. But that's the truth. It's not about control. It's not about perfection. It's about being willing to embrace the mess. It's about understanding that you don't have to make everything perfect. You don't have to hold the world on your shoulders. And yet, people keep fighting. They keep pushing. They keep trying to force everything to go their way, to fit their idea of how it should look. But the more they fight, the more they lose sight of what really matters. They lose sight of the joy that comes from just being in the moment. They lose sight of the beauty in the mess. It's like they're so focused on the destination, they forget the journey. They forget to enjoy the ride. But that's the thing about control, isn't it? The more you try to control it all, the less you experience. The less you let life be, the less you enjoy it. But here's the kicker. The funny part. People think they're in charge. They think they're steering the ship. They think if they work harder, if they push more, if they're just a little smarter, a little better, they'll make it happen. But life's not a race, and you're not in charge of the outcome. You can only control how you respond to it. You can only control your attitude, your decisions, and how you handle the chaos. But you can't control the chaos itself. You can't control what life throws your way, and the sooner you realize that, the better off you'll be. It's funny, isn't it? The whole thing is a joke. People running around, thinking they're in control, thinking they have the answers, thinking they're the ones who can fix everything. And life is just sitting there, laughing, because it knows better. Life knows that the more you fight against it, the more you're going to lose. The more you try to force your will, the more you're going to end up frustrated, exhausted, and completely burned out. The key isn't control. The key is letting go. It's releasing the need to fix it all, to make it perfect, to bend it to your will. Because when you do, when you let go of that constant battle, that's when you start to live. That's when you start to see the beauty in the chaos, the joy in the mess.